I will tell you what. I don't really want to dab on this piece. I don't really want to dab on this piece at all. And I was going to sing a song about it, but I'm not because I'm being very serious. This is the type of piece you give away, you know? It's just, I'm just kidding. But it is a monster. It's so fun. I'm really stoked on the symmetry, how it came out. Really balanced. Oh my god, I'm just trying to, you know, like, have you guys ever like done like jumping off like cliffs into the water, like cliff jumping or any of that stuff? That's what I'm doing right now. I'm like the guy standing on the edge, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it in 3, and then like I'm like 3, 2, and I'm like, hey, is your car locked? And I'm like, and then we talk for a minute. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to jump. Count me in. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to kill some time because I'm not ready for this at all. You know, I was telling my wife, I was like, we should find some good like CBD hash or something so that like whatever, like the last dab, I can do a big one, but it's just not THC. Because after this dab, usually I just want to go eat some food, cuddle up on the couch, relax. Right now I feel motivated. Cold, but motivated. It's only my hands that are cold. I might have a circulation problem. We'll figure it out. Who knows? Yeah, Aisha's fine. Yeah, here's a t-shirt. I'm in a long sleeve, and I'm thick. I got some pounds on me. So I should not be cold. Still, killing time. Terrified. Here we go. So let's talk about it just one more second. Let's make sure. Yeah, that's definitely going to do something. All right, let's get it going. Yeah, it happens to be when I like worked really late and then I haven't eaten enough or drank enough water. It's just like my body just shutting down. It's like, oh, dude. Yeah, because like I have when I did eye therapy for 3 years because I had a petit mal as a kid, which is like a seizure thing. And then I took Depakote, which is like a seizure medicine, but it makes your bones less dense. So my parents took it off me after I was on it for like 8 years because it was starting to fuck with my bone density. Yeah. And then my migraines developed my seizures developed into this crazy migraine like disorder. And the doctors were saying that like I have a constant migraine. It's just sometimes it like peaks harder than others. And my point is when I'm really dehydrated and everything, it's like my body can't naturally fight the pain anymore or keep a balance. But when I smoke cannabis, everything's good, dude. Everything's good. Are we filming right now?
Yeah.
Bro, sweet. I like this. This is even a good intro too. It doesn't even fucking matter. This is chill. What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 52 of the podcast. We're going to have a fun day today. We have some really unique pieces on the table we'll talk about in sesh, but before we get into it, don't forget to check out bmsglass.com. On our website there, you can sign up for our newsletter. That way you can stay up to date on all the drops, giveaways, and everything else we're doing here at Bear Mountain Studios. Yeah. So, man, episode 52. Here we are. I'm smoking on some dank dough this morning. This is my first smoke of the day. And I'll tell you what, guys, I don't know if you were here when we were just talking about how tired me and Aisha are. I don't know if we're going to keep it in the intro or cut it out or what, but fucking exhausted. Trying to find that balance where it's like I was telling Aisha in the beginning of this, it's like back in the day, I could like work all the time until 2, 3 in the morning and for 7 days a week and be a zombie during the day. But now that we film a podcast weekly, it's like I can be a zombie, but like you really can't be that zombied out trying to do a podcast. You have to be a little bit coherent and able to talk and hang out. So we're fighting the sleep deprivation right now. But I'll tell you one thing about sleep deprivation. You get songs stuck in your head, so much so that you can't get away from them. They start dictating your life. And the song I have stuck in my head is Fantasy by Mariah Carey. And ooh boy, that's one of the lyrics, and it is just nonstop. Her screaming "ooh boy" in my fucking head. Yeah, for your health, Mariah Carey. Been rocking to a 90s playlist, and you know she's just the only song that I can remember from it. It just keeps stuck in my head. Holy shit! Wow, guys, let's just fucking start talking about this fucking piece right now. I'm sorry, folks. I'm so exhausted. I really have. I would do work all the time, but lately it's been absurd because I have horrible anxiety about going on vacation. So I'm like, I gotta just crush to try and make up for the week I'm gonna lose. And like I said last episode, I gotta try and find a way to calm down. Okay, let's get right into the glass today, and we'll save some of the existential bullshit for later on when I'm a little more stoned and not scare people away right from the start of the episode here. So I made this piece the other night for my birthday to give away. My wife asked, but I was telling my wife it was Sunday night after our Sunday sale, and I had worked till 4:30 in the morning already the night before on Saturday, and I was really tired. And she was like, "Oh, you're gonna take the night off tonight? The sale sold out. Like, we're good." Like, and I'm like, "No, I'm gonna go work." And I was like, "I really have this thing I want to make." And she's like, "Oh, you're gonna work on new pieces to sell?" And I was like, "Well," I want to make something to give away. And she's never stoked when I want to do that because she's like, "Oh, there's always bills to pay. There's always projects to do on the house. So like when I take a full day out just to make something to give away," she's like, "Oh, you could have, but whatever." To me, this is like what I wanted to do. So, and I told her, and I got to pull the birthday card, folks. So I got to do this piece. I was like, this is what I want for my birthday cast. I just want to be able to make this fucking piece I have stuck in my head and then give it away. Because I don't think this is anything I could ever sell to someone. Just because it's so absurd and obnoxious and ridiculous. It's just like, it's so novelty. It's like a Titan RBR. It's super novelty. It's just a display of function and fun. Oh, I literally had a guy the other day on Instagram when I posted it, though. The only person and he wasn't really being negative, and I totally understood his point of view, and I want to say that caveat before I get into this whole thing. Disclaimer, whatever you want to say. But basically, he was like, "Oh, when you make monstrosities like this thing, it makes me feel like this is too easy for you and you're bored, and it actually devalues your work." And I was like, okay, I can totally see that perspective. But with that perspective, you're assuming a lot of things about me. You're assuming that I see myself as some high-end artist on a pedestal, and I think I'm, pretty cool guy that's very skilled, and I'm worth a lot. When in all actuality, most people that work really hard and have something they're trying to accomplish, most of them are hard on themselves and don't believe that they're capable, but they just keep trying. And that's me. But I wanted to explain to him that it was like, and I commented back to him, but in a friendly way. Like, I'm not going to be negative because he's like a supporter. He's someone, I don't know if he owns any of my work, but like, he's on my page commenting, liking. In one of the comments, he said like he's a customer with money in hand and he can't even get a piece, and then I'm spending time doing stuff like this. But it's like I'm working all the time, like 24/7. And pieces like this are fun exercises for my brain. It makes me think. It gives me ideas for new concepts. It's a concept piece. It's something that like also too, I can kind of make you guys think too. Like when I make it and you guys see it function and you're looking at it, maybe it's making you think about cool ideas, or it gives you an idea for something else. I don't know. I look at them as like little inspiration and love bombs when I do pieces like this and then give them away. It's like, if you are a car manufacturer, now I'm going to use someone, but I'm not comparing myself to this person in any way, shape, or form. But if you look at Elon Musk, okay, and again, I'm not comparing myself to him in any way, shape, or form, but he's someone I look up to, so it's going to be easier for me to make this analogy using him. If you look at him, and he's manufacturing his Teslas all day, and people are loving them, buying them, but he's a really creative, driven person, and he has an idea for this crazy electric car that, maybe he could never sell. Maybe it's an electric car with 7 wheels. But cars are only supposed to have an even number of wheels, not an odd number of wheels. That doesn't make much sense. But Elon Musk really wants to see this car come to life, but he knows that he can't get his company to back this project because they know it's going to be too big, bulky, and goofy to really sell. It's more of just something to catch people's eye, make them talk, a conversation piece. So what Elon does is he takes his money and his time and he builds this fancy, fun car that he knows he can't really sell and make it a product to put to market, but he wants to see it come to life. He wants to feel the power, the function, the performance. So he puts it together. And then instead, what I do, my thing is I don't want to make money from these. I'm not trying to. I didn't make this to make money. I made this because I wanted to feel the function. I wanted to see the water spin. I wanted to see if it actually worked. I wanted to see if it fucking worked. How many humans throughout history just tried something because they wanted to see it work? And to me, another thing I said to this kid, I was like, dude, this is just for fun. Like sometimes like you find the most fun and the most like meaningless, like pointless activities, but you do it because you're creating fun. and I'm trying to enjoy myself. And after 8 years of grinding 24/7, 7 days a week, literally, guys, I work like an animal, and I have not stopped since I started doing this. I still love it. I still love it so much where even after working till 4:30 in the morning and making my money to pay my bills, I still want to work all night to make something to give away. There's a bunch of reasons. Besides that, it's also a yin and yang thing. How I look at it is that, you know, even though I worked really hard to create all the product to sell, I still got a gift. I still am very lucky that there's people that want to support it. Everyone works hard, you know, but not everyone gets the support system they need. So I'm super lucky and grateful that I get that, and, or at least I'm experiencing that right now in my career, and people are supporting my Sunday sales and buying the pieces. So in order to like balance that yin and yang, oh my God, Luna, sweetheart, what's going on? These dogs are the worst in the world. I love them so much. They're absolutely terrible. How I look at things to balance and yin and yang, like to find that balance, like I got a great gift of all these people buying and supporting my work and selling out a drop. I need to give something away. It's just part of it. I got to fix my dog. She's broken. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Just whip the toys across the room. No more resource guarding. That's the issue, is that I have one dog that's a rescue, and she came with this really cool habit of resource guarding, where if anyone goes near her while she has a toy, she just growls horribly. It just sounds scary. And then Bane, my big fluffy German Shepherd, which I got from a breeder, he just wants love. He just wants friends. So he's like, there's my friend. I'm going to go sit next to you and chew on my bone. I don't want your toys. But the fact that he's in the vicinity of her makes her growl, and it affects the quality of the audio of the podcast. However, you guys probably didn't hear the growling, and we made a big fucking thing out of nothing, but that's content. We did it. All right? So back to what we're saying. Oh, she came back. Okay. Sweet. Luna, go somewhere else. Take your bone, go somewhere else. Go find another place to lay down. Oh, she's just going to get closer to Bane. She's like, I really need to let him know that I'm pissed about everything he's doing. But yeah, I wanted to make this piece for like, there's a bunch of different reasons, everything from selfish reasons to I want to see it function, or I want to feel this and, you know, see this thing work. I want to see if I'm capable. I want to see if I'm strong enough to build this big fucking thing. How can I balance all these drains to, you know, I want to balance the scales, yin and yang. Like I got a great gift. Now I need to give back. It's just how I see the world. It doesn't mean that's how it functions. It's just how I'm functioning through this existence. Is I believe if I get a gift, I need to give something back in order to maintain that balance in the world around me. But I'll pull on this piece now after we talked about it a whole bunch and I spun it in circles for fucking 4 minutes. Wow. Smoked a few hits off that joint. I'm going to just take a couple more hits off it because it's really, I'm like getting the perfect stone from it, which means I should probably smoke more. And we'll, oh, is this left on? Oh, this ain't the one. This one's got butane in it. Cormac is notorious for that shit. I should say something to him. I pick and choose my battles, though. I'm like, I'd rather just buy extra 3 cans of butane a week instead of even tell him, hey, twist the knob a little more. You keep leaving it on. Ooh, man, this dank dough. All right, let's just pull on this thing. I'm not gonna smoke this fucking thing yet. We're gonna take some dabs on some other shit before we dab on this. We'll dab on this a little later in the episode because once I start smoking this, I'm gonna stop making sense. But honestly, I might have not made sense at all at the beginning of this, but in my own delusional world, I'm like, I'm making sense. All right, let's pull on this thing real quick just to show off some of that function. You guys can hear it and shit. She's frothy. We've been seshing it real heavy. I've posted a shit ton of videos on my Instagram of this thing too. So if you folks have not seen this piece yet and the first time you're seeing it is here on the podcast, go to my Instagram. There's dab videos, there's up close videos, there's videos of me working on it and shit. God, look how frothy that fucking water is from going through these perks and down through all these different drains. I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera, but there's just like foam in the top of every fucking cylinder. Let's see. This is kind of cool too, is that if once the water volume gets heavy enough, here, let me move this shit up. Let's talk about this shit. Once the water volume gets a little like heavy in this top like drain, once it really fills up, you get these like horizontal vortexes that will start in these longer tubes, and they only last for a second because once the water starts dumping through, they lose their energy. But there's a couple seconds there where there's like a fucking horizontal vortex happening. So fun. Yeah. And also that guy leaving those comments, that what obviously, like I said, he's a supporter. He's making a good point from his point of view. But he probably just doesn't follow me super close because this is kind of my MO. I mean, for the last 8 years, I've just made crazy pieces, giving them away, and then I make my pieces and sell them at drops. That's how I do things. I have new followers every day. Get about 100 new followers a day. So it's like, if they've been watching for 3 months, they probably think they have the whole picture when in all actuality, there's so much more and honestly so much less. My picture is pretty simple. I mean, I've painted it on here 100 times. I mean, I work 7 days a week. I smoke hash. I spend time with my family, and I do my podcast and tell you all about it. It's a pretty simple existence, and I'm so grateful it's simple. When things are complicated, they're just not quite as comfy and relaxing. Like, I play World of Warcraft with my wife a couple nights a week. And that game used to be so complicated. But now it's super easy. And I'm super bad at it. I think I used to be pretty decent at it maybe in the 2007, 2008, like 12 years ago, 13 years ago. Now I'm just so high and tired when I'm on there that I'm useless. At this point, I'm so bad that now when I log on with my wife, she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, you know how people like go back to their old town, or if you've moved out of town, maybe go back to your old school or just old areas you used to hang out and you drive around and reminisce. Maybe you see the old gas station where you used to grab that soda on the way walking to work or school or something. You know, you never know. Just simple shit like that. I do that. However, I'm on a dragon flying around World of Warcraft reminiscing about all the raids I used to do and the great battles over here 10 years ago, and it's fucked. It's weird. But that's what I do now. I just fly around and remember. I'm like, oh, remember that war in Azeroth and that one. But my wife, she PvPs and actually does all the quests and gets her gear and gets all her different achievements she needs to do. Me, I just get on there and dab really heavy and fly around and gank low-level people. You know, it's fun for me. Let's talk about this before. Like I said, I'll dab on this in a little bit. We're going to save this for probably the last like 15-20 minutes of dabbing. But I would like to smoke this Windstar tube and check out this Chaka collab and stuff too before we really get fucking ignorant on this thing. Because I smoked the shit out of that the other night, and I felt dumb after. I felt stupid. I was like, oh, I'm dumb now. And I mean, I've always been, but the spectrum is now leaning even farther into the dumb area after I've smoked too much hash through that giant pipe. And I think, honestly, it's the lack of oxygen. You know? It's not even the hash. It's just like, oh, God, I'm working that hard to fucking do dabs on this thing. And that's my point why I would never really sell stuff like this. Like, yeah, I'll probably make a couple Titans someday. But this thing with all the freaking drains, it was so fucking... It's hard to balance all these things. Clear glass, yes, is a little less time consuming to assemble and build. But forget the fucking material it's made out of. It's more about balancing the drains, making sure diameters are the right size so that the drains are firing at the same time. There's a lot when it comes to balancing water and function within a piece, all the way down to being on a level table. If the table's not level and you're a multi-drain piece, like whatever way the table's leaning, that drain's going to get the harder spin. So it's good to find a level area for those fire function videos of multi-drain pieces. There's not a lot of pieces out there that have like multiple like cyclone sections, so it's not really a real problem when it comes to talking about leveling pieces. Man, this is so like, can you believe how specific what I'm talking about is? Not to mention, like, not that many people that even smoke weed know about high-end concentrates or glass that cost more than $1,000. But I'm over here talking about a multi-drain recycler and having a level surface so the drains are firing at the same pace. it's borderline pointless information, but I got it. Another thing I would say about like, oh well, you ever just like the weed just finally hit you? That just happened. Okay, I'm gonna take a dab now because I totally lost my point. But I was talking about drains all firing at the same time and how pointless it is for me to explain that because it's a very small group of us that actually even own a piece with 2 fucking vortexes in it. But hey, Terp World problems, right? We got them here. Okay, we got this Windstar tube right here, and I haven't smoked this yet. But my dude John Eddy scooped this up. I've talked about these folks before on other podcasts, but man, they support super, super heavy, and they always seem to get something from a Sunday sale or a drop. They find a way through. They figure it out. I think it's because they really know what they want, and they go for like really unique stuff. Like this Windstar tube is just so unique. And man, Windstar, like she is fucking. I mean, she's been killing it, right? But like right now, like she just did a Yushin collab. She's just like at Everdream. She's on that. I think it's called, I'm sorry if I get this wrong, but I think it's called Operation Pipe Dreams. It's like you guys know the show Blown Away or Blow? I don't know. It's some fucking glass blowing show on Netflix. It's Blown Away. I'm really failing at memory stuff right now, but it's the lack of sleep, I promise. But she did a show like that, but it's for borosilicate workers, people that make pipes and stuff. So I've just been seeing her doing shit, and I don't know her personally, but man, she's a grinder. She works super, super late like me. She's a parent as well. She's a crusher. So I'm really stoked that I was able to get this done, and I'm really grateful for her patience because this tube took me way too long to finish. It's insulting almost, and that's one thing I always worry about with how hard I work and how much I'm trying to achieve is that inherently the repercussions or the ripple effect of working this hard is maybe losing grasp of time or priorities, and then being in a situation where I've had a collab sitting around that's not done for 4 or 5 months. And, that's like, I never want to like offend anyone. And I hope I didn't. Everyone's been cool with me, but I always let people know I'm conscious of, hey, this should have been done sooner. And I really apologize. Like I promise it wasn't because I was out partying on a boat or traveling around the world and enjoying myself. I promise it was because I was working so hard in my garage. I just lost track of something, or I was like overwhelmed, or I was nervous to touch the piece again, or whatever. The excuse is always based on some sort of fear. It's not because I was having fun, I promise. And that's what I always tell people. If I didn't get it done, it wasn't because I was out having a good time. It's because the piece broke, my cat got diabetes, or something else. Something happened. It wasn't a good thing. If it ain't done, it wasn't good. Did not happen because I was like, I'm going to choose fun. I'll always choose work and everything over fun, which is an issue. I need to fix that because you should definitely choose fun and, making good memories over trying to please other people and just get work done. But we all have our personal vices or like mental prisons we get stuck in based on what type of reality we're trying to manifest. Ooh, it's fun saying big words. I don't know what they mean. Let's take a dab. Oh, I dropped out in 10th grade. It's pretty cool. I'm proud of it. I've always been proud of it, though, which is the funny thing. Just like I've always been proud of my wife on MySpace. I like being proud of things that other people are embarrassed about because I feel like it makes me, I don't know. I just like being proud of things people would normally be embarrassed about. When I was younger, if you told, like when I was in 2005, if you told your parents that you met someone on the internet and you're going to go to the mall and meet them, they're like, you're going to get molested. Don't do it. Like, it's going to happen. But like me and my wife, we just went for it. We're like, I hope you're not an old man. And I was like, hope you're not an old man. Let's fucking hang out. And then neither of us were old men, and we had a great time. But it was very taboo back in the early 2000s, meeting someone on the internet and hanging out. Most people met in person. They met at school. They met at work. Nowadays, it's taboo to meet someone in real world. Most people meet on the internet or an app or a swipe thing or whatever. So the tables have turned in 15 years. Crazy. Honestly, faster than that. A decade, 10 years. How fast things have changed. I mean, Netflix used to just come to your door. They deliver you a little red envelope with a DVD in it. Now it's just there on your TV. Crazy. I don't know, though, with like pipe technology, I'm like, I feel like there's always going to be a place for like the handmade glass art just because There's something so special about the way it feels and everything. But that could be me just being naive, being like in my own time, thinking that we're doing it the right way. That's something that all humans go through in every time period. Is they always believe that the time they're living in is the best time. You know, that's a pretty blanket statement because I'm pretty sure there's people over the last 10,000 years that are like, fuck this time period, fuck this. I wish I was in the fucking future, or I wish I was living 2,000 years ago and they were building the pyramids. That must have been dope. I'm talking about the perspective of someone that lived 2,000 years ago, and yeah. See, I'm too high to even. I only smoked weed this morning, and you know what it is? It's the sleep deprivation, the lack of sleep, and then just a little bit of weed, and I have difficulty making sense. All right, but I have not smoked this Windstar tube yet. The homie scooped it so I can take a dab on it. I'm really excited. It's just like it's got a 12-hole reinforced gridded shower head in the bottom. I was a little nervous about putting a shower head in it. I was like, oh, should I have just put like a smaller, like 4 cut, like almost like down stem? But I just love the way shower heads bring the bubbles to the outer wall like this. And then when it hits that beaker, like the energy of it curves back down on itself. So the bubbles come out, they hit the wall, and then they splash down back on themselves. God, sometimes I feel like I'm explaining things with my hands, and like I just assume everyone knows what I'm talking about, and people are like, I have no idea what he's fucking talking about. But I do that with my trainer too. I'll talk about water and flow and movement in a piece, because she'll be like, how do you know if a piece is gonna work or how it's gonna hit or whatever? And I'm like, oh, I can just like think about it. Like I could build a piece in my head, not an RBR, like anything that I'm like trying to build, and I'll know how it's going to feel when I hit it. I'll know like the actual like the timing on the pops of the bubbles, the way it's going to stack, like, and then like the exciting part when it's finished and I actually go to hit it and it's that or even better than I expected. It's the best. Come on, Turbometer. There we go. Okay, let's see where we're at here. Okay, so today I got some really, really good hash here that I got for my birthday, because this is my birthday episode too, because my birthday was this will come out Sunday, birthday Saturday, I think. I don't know. It's this week sometime. So I got this birthday hash. I got a big old jar of sour diesel, which I'm super stoked about. Because being a New York guy, I just really love those sour diesel terps, those really fuel gasoline terps. All right. Take this at about 480. I have not dabbed on this piece yet. I'm very excited. Tubes are wow. Tubes are so different than recyclers. Variety is the spice of life, folks. I smoke a lot of recyclers. I never smoke tubes. Wow. That was really nice. I can appreciate my friends that only like smoking tubes anytime I hit a tube, because I'm like, I get it. I get that simplicity. I'm a simple person. Been with the same girl since I was 15. I do the same thing every day. I wear the same shit. Like, I like my same coffee. When I go to the restaurant, I always order the same thing. I like simplicity. I like consistency. And that's definitely something you can get from a nice tube. Honestly, most tubes are going to hit great. I think that's what the consistency and simplicity and trust is there in buying a tube. But maybe recyclers just haven't had enough time put into them where there's that consistency, where I'm going super hard on the recyclers. Like, I'm working very hard to keep refining better and better so that we can find a consistency in recyclers where some of those mini tube people maybe jump on the recycler boat and smoke those too. We all have preferences. I like everything. I really do. There was a point in my life where I liked to judge and analyze everything in a way where I wanted to prove why it was better or worse than something. Now I just like liking things. Like, I will choose to just like something. I'm like, I'm gonna try and have fun instead of like not like this. Like, I'm not gonna I want to try and be more selfless about things. I just want to like, hey, if even if I'm having a tough day, if everyone else is around me having a good time, I'm not gonna fucking try and bring that down. It's so hard not to do though. I mean, even like this year, I've had my moments where I'm like having a bad day, like something breaks, and I want to go inside and tell my wife about it and bring her mood down. It's so hard to just hold your tongue and not fucking get pissed and just like let people know or get irritated when someone's you know when you're in a bad mood and someone's happy around you and you're like fuck you. I have almost 100,000 people following me. I am trying to be so careful with how much I post about me being happy. I try to just post most of the suffering because if you're too happy on the internet, I feel like it offends people. It makes because there's people out there that are like having a tough day or losing, and I know some people get motivated from it, but then there's a lot of people out there that it makes them feel like they're a loser more. You know, sometimes people look on the internet and see someone doing really good. It makes them feel like they did something wrong or they failed because they're not doing that good. When in all actuality, that's really just usually not the case. The world's not really fair and it doesn't really make sense. It's just fucked. But we're here and we get to smoke hash. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Like I like to bring it back, folks. We'll go a little dark and weird, but then we'll come right back. I want to take more dabs though because that was like super nice. The sour diesel from my friend's Organic Garden Dog. I think it might be sour diesel wedding cake mix again, but all I taste is sour diesel, so that's what I'm calling it. Oh, but man, it's so good. It there's certain like I live in Colorado, so I get I have good quality concentrates and shit around me all the time. But even being in a place with access to all these things, it's still really special when you get certain terps, especially certain gassy or OG terps that aren't as easy to acquire, especially in the middle of the country. It's just, you appreciate it. And it's funny, you think that you would get a little bit desensitized to hash and terps from smoking all the time and having so much access to so many different flavors. But no, like honestly, it just makes you more aware of like how good certain hash is. Like I've smoked hash before that I like a year ago. I'm like, oh, this was fire, and then I'll go back and smoke that same company, and all of a sudden my palate has gotten so refined that I can taste that they weren't using a clean RO source, or they had a hose that was too new, so a kind of rubbery taste went into it that wasn't the terpene. It was more of a chemically thing, and then there's all these different factors. I mean, obviously it depends on what type of extracting the people are doing or whatever, but I feel like your palate gets more refined with the more access you have to terpenes and stuff. I don't think that you get numb to it. And actually a good way to prove that too is like I've had family members come and visit me and like they don't smoke weed really or anything, or maybe they did back in the day at one point. They're not anti-weed, and I'll show them some jars of weed. You ever have family members and they're kind of cool with weed? You crack open a jar and like smell this, and you're all excited about it. You're like, oh, smell this one, and they're like, yeah, it smells like weed. Yeah, it smells like weed. And like, but you do not smell the lemon terps, or do you not smell this, and they just don't. And I'm like, they would probably smell it though if they had a more refined palate, if they actually were a cannabis smoker. I wonder. Who knows? Okay. Hash. Man. Wednesday for us right now. It's a beautiful day in Colorado. I couldn't be more grateful for the weather. Man, because I'm just about over the cold again. I grew up in a place where it was cold for 6 months a year, and you know, after you've done that for so long, unless you're someone that's constantly out in the cold playing in it, which I did. I grew up snowboarding, but then once I found out about girls, like, I was like, snowboarding's lame, dude. Girls are way cooler. And also, too, snowboarding, I had to, like, drive pretty far to the mountain. It was just a resource thing. It was really expensive. People hit hard times. It's not as easy to buy that $1,000 snowboard, $400 boots, $500 jack. I mean, it adds up. I can't even, it's just crazy. Like, I would obviously do it for my daughter, and I have already with certain things, but, like, just growing up in the 90s, early 2000s, like, how expensive stuff even was then, and, like, I don't think people's wages reflect how expensive it is to live a normal lifestyle in this day and age. But what's normal, right? I guess it's whatever the media paints for us. So if they tell us we're all supposed to have our own car and a house and be married, that's what we're supposed to do. And if we don't do that, we're failing. But maybe that's not normal. Maybe the most normal thing for humans to do is just create art. Maybe we're supposed to just be making things constantly. Just like little ants, you know, building shit. Just trying to kill some time while we get this nail clean, folks. You know how this goes. This eventually will be a segment where it's like, oh, nail time. And I'm just talking out my ass while we're trying to get this cleaned up for my next dab. And that's just what it is. But man, always go back to my 14 millimeter double diffused. I love this piece so fucking much. I smoke this the most. I have all of them. I have 10 mil double diffused, micros, everything. And I like those when I'm like really getting stoned or I'm smoking some really fire hash with some friends because they're always shocked at like how small they are and how well they function and how, whatever. But for me personally, when I'm like this, it's the height of this is perfect for me on any table I'm smoking at. Like because I got a belly, so when I bend, it's like it's harder for me to get lower to the, I need a piece that's taller because the belly's in the way. Someone out there's got a belly too, and you'll understand. You ever tie your shoes and you can't breathe? Your belly's in the way. Happens to me. My wife never understood that for years. She's like, why can't you breathe? I'm like, I'm trying to tie my shoes, holding my breath. It's gotten a lot better though since I've been working out with a trainer the last 6 months. Like it doesn't happen anymore. Now I squat and tie my shoes. Before I'd be bending over and tying them. So like I would just bend at my waist. But now my body moves downwards again. Like my knees and everything. Guys, I've worked so hard the last 7-8 years, like that I'm now trying to fix myself. I'm now like, well, worked this hard. Now I'm investing money into my body. Like, okay, this doesn't work anymore. I got to like lose weight here. I got to build strength here because my lower back. Like, I'm trying to like repair all those working 7 days a week to 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Like, now I'm back on that late night grind again because fucking having a trainer and shit's expensive. So it's honestly, I'm trapped in a never-ending cycle of I'll just be husky, as my mom says, and always trying to make more monies to pay for all this stuff. But that's life. That's the fun part. It's the game. Maybe I got bad at World of Warcraft because I was so focused on trying to get good at life. I'm just trying to farm in real life. I think that's why it's so fun because it's like me and my wife are playing the life game together. We're on the same team, building this shit together, and like I'm like grinding super late, and it reminds me when I used to stay up all night fucking just farming for materials for raids and shit. This is a heavy World of Warcraft episode, but this serious, like the sleep deprivation, what happens is honestly I think I'm a different person when I start going back into sleep deprived Evan because all my memories now and all like the things I think about are stuff that was happening when I was last sleep deprived, which was a while ago. When I'm rested, it's like a totally different thing. Maybe you guys aren't picking up on it, but I'll tell you what, the way my mind's working right now, I'm thinking about stuff that's like not really relevant. I'm like, dude, you're like going back in time right now because like you're sleep deprived again. So like you're back to where you were like a year and a half ago, wherever that brain was. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself. All right, some more of this sour diesel. That's all I got right now. But it's all I need, honestly. It's such a good strain. A special one, and then the wedding cake just honestly adds a nice OG body to the whole thing, so it's like super sour and extra OG just from that wedding cake. I love the sound the fucking rubies make when that cap starts whipping it. That's really cool. Well, God. When you work out though, you can take bigger dabs. It's easier. Something happens where like I don't know if it's lung capacity or like vascular blood flow. I don't know, something. There's some science in there, but dabbing has become like I don't know. The dabs have gotten bigger and easier to tolerate. Obviously, that has something to do with tolerance and just being a daily user of cannabis, but something about like physical health, definitely not rest, but at least what I'm doing, I was just lifting all morning, so I'm feeling it. God, I'm feeling so much better though. I was in so much pain before this podcast. It's I smoke cannabis like all day for the most part, so like sometimes I think I get like so like spoiled with it that like I don't appreciate how amazing of a medicine it really is and can be for some people. Not everyone, definitely not for everyone, but some people it's really beneficial. It actually makes your life experience a little bit more pleasant and functional. And for me, that's what it does. It's like I just just my overall experience, everything. Honestly, before this podcast, I was just like stressed and overwhelmed. Take a few dabs. Now I'm just like thinking about like all the things I want to create and make. I'm thinking about like instead of thinking about like why I'm gonna fail, like right now I'm thinking about like why I want to succeed. You know, it's all like that double-edged sword. All these thoughts are the same path, but it's just like, is it that dark path or that light path? And I feel like I walk a fine line, and sometimes I fall to one side or the other, but I try to just stay on the same path no matter what. Oh man, this stool, I need to tighten the screws in it because that lean I just did made that really dramatic the way it tipped. Woo, might have Tourette's too, you know, who knows? We might have some other things going on. We have to go to the doctors. At least I do. It's checkup time for sure. I haven't had one since, oh God. Actually, no, I think I had one. I had to have one before my daughter was born. Yeah, I'm fucking good. She's not even 3 yet. I'm fine. I'm dude fucking 31 almost. Or I am now. When this drops, I'll be 31. God, that's weird. Growing up's fucking weird, dude. Aja, what are you, 25? 24? He's gonna do so much. I see you, and I'm like, that's when I like started blowing us. It's like when I moved to Denver. 24, dude, you're gonna kill it. You're gonna do so good, and that's why I see Cormac too. I'm like, dude, you're 23 or 24. I think he just turned 24, maybe. His birthday was this past week or so. But just crazy because I just remember where I was at when I was 24, and God, yeah. I don't know. I just want to see people do good. It's the weirdest thing. I'm like, I feel like that's the only way for like, especially our country to heal, but I feel like for people just in communities to heal is to want to see each other succeed. People are getting way too excited seeing people fail right now. It's scary. I'm like, oh, that's your teammate, man. You don't want to see them fail. Like, you want to see them like grow and learn and change. Like, you know, we all don't have to have the same beliefs in order to be on the same team. We're already getting into that existential bullshit again. It's like, it really creeps up on me. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I really do not want to give any sort of idea. If you're watching this, I'm just smoking hash and talking. I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't take anything. Take it for a grain of salt. Like, there's a saying, right? There's something about salt and grains. Yeah. Whatever that analogy is, Google it. Do that. I'm too tired. I listened to a podcast last night all about sleep. I like to listen up when I'm sleep deprived and staying up all night. I listen to podcasts about why sleep deprivation is bad for you and you're going to get Alzheimer's and die young. And when I'm listening to these late at night and while I'm super tired, I get crazy, like deep thoughts about things. But this one I was listening to last night, they're actually saying that all this shit is now being proven wrong. Like, as long as you're loving what you're doing, there's a certain type of dopamine your brain's producing that's protecting parts of your brain or neurons from the negative effects of not sleeping. But if you're being sleep deprived in a negative way, like all the tests they've done on mice with sleep deprivation are very negative. Like they put them on a little fucking cup that's only small enough for them to stand on in the middle of a water bucket full of ice. And if the mice falls asleep at all or goes into REM sleep, he falls off into the ice and climb back onto the cup and just has to stay awake. So all tests they've ever done has been a negative thing. So the sleep deprivation could be negative and have all these negative effects. Maybe you're being sleep deprived because you're some person over in war and you're just awake for days, or you're being like, whatever, you're sick, you're in pain, you're in a hospital, whatever the reason is. But what if you're sleep deprived because you're obsessed and in love with what you're doing? You know, I mean, look at people like Einstein and people like that. I mean, those dudes stayed pretty sharp until old age. But really, most of the sharpness is when it happens. The ages are from it's really like early 20s to like early 30s. And then after, if you haven't figured out your thing by then, they say it's like, you know, any big breakthroughs after that aren't really going to happen. But that's an opinion I don't like to believe. I think people can have their breakthroughs at age 70. They could find their thing and figure it out. I think I just don't like when people say can't about anything. Anytime someone says something's not possible or you can't, even if it's like in a positive way, I'm like, oh, I don't know though. When you're assuming you can't do this, or you're saying for sure, just like when they said the Titanic is the unsinkable ship and that bitch went down. So don't be so confident. I think that's one of humans' greatest downfalls is the ego gives us this confidence that we for sure know this, this, and this. It's all set. But nothing's set. We don't know. We just like to live in delusion. That's how we get through the day to day. We're a species that knows. Oh my God, dude, this is getting too deep. We gotta smoke more hash, dude. Holy shit, I was about to say some crazy shit. We can't do that on this podcast too much because then people get scared. They're like, whoa, I thought we were like talking about pipes. And now I'm like thinking about my decisions for the rest of the day and like what I've done over the last 5 years. Like, it's not healthy. Don't think so much. New thing I'm doing, think less. I'm overthinking everything. I really need to just smoke more hash and giggle. Just need to chuckle. I don't know. I'm doing a podcast with no guests, so all I can do is think. So this is literally, I am just a hypocrite in every way, right? Kind of, right? I think so. There's no format here. Oh God, I love this piece so much. This is a 10 millimeter double diffuse. It's not a mini. But it is a 10 mil. The 10 mils with the sidekick drains, they're narrow, more narrow than like a 14 mil. Like, obviously, a little skinnier. But that little bit of less space makes it stack just a little bit quicker, gives it a little bit different hit, a little more restriction. The 10 mils and the 14 mils are like, it doesn't, people are like, what do you prefer? And I'm like, I like the 14 mils, but it's like 10 mils have this really like awesome, unique hit. They're smaller, like more sleek. Like, I don't know. I think it's all like a preference thing. You need to try both. So I get one friend to get a 10 mil and then you get the 14 mil. And if you guys both hate it, just sell them. But then you figure out which one you like. Like, oh, actually, I really like that 14 mil. I'm going to get this one next, or I'm going to get a colored one or whatever. That's what I always thought was nice about having the clear options, because it's like introductory for people to try out the design. And if they really like it, then they'll go for a headier one with it's like their favorite color ever, and then sell the clear one as like their, down payment, or like, usually like half the cost. But nowadays the clear ones are going for so much on the second market. I'm getting a little, are you cold? Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I think this happens every episode. We must be about 45 minutes in. Yeah, because this is when my hands get cold and I start shaking. Not sure what that is, but the consistency of my life, I can start timing things just based on how my body's reacting in the environment. Maybe every Wednesday we go through some sort of like solar radiation field and it just affects me because of my blood type or something, bro. Or I didn't eat enough of something. But I like to think the crazier option because it's more fun. Man, because our LED light is broken and the new one gets here today, but not in time for the podcast, my perspective of the little screen on that camera from where I'm sitting, and you folks can't see this, so this doesn't mean anything to you, but for me it does. I look like I'm sitting on top of a skyscraper and there's a giant city behind me. There's just like skyscrapers, lights. It's kind of cool. I look like a giant. All right. Dude, I'm too stoned. See, it's fucked, but it's okay. See, this is better than me talking about the crazy shit, because I don't want anyone thinking too deep. I've thought too deep, and it's a mess. It's a real mess in there, because then I realize I'm human and I know nothing. And that thinking deep is just, it's like a curse for humans. It's better to be like, ignorance is bliss. It's better to be just dumb and not know what the fuck's going on. Honestly, none of us know what the fuck's going on, so it's better to just be more realistic and not give a shit what's going on and just enjoy yourself. So that's not dumb. So those are the smart people. The dumb people are the ones like me that think too much. All right. See, again, we were just trying to heat up the nail and just kill just a couple seconds here. And I'll talk about this piece while the nail cools down. Talk about this lake ice tech that Chaka makes and the colors we used on this piece, because we made these colors, mixed these colors in-house. All right, so let's turn her this way. So the color we used to pair up with this lake ice tech from Chaka is Mystique and Blue Slime. So it makes this like really like almost really extra dark moonstone kind of color. We were trying to get a blue that complemented the chocolate prep but didn't take away from it. Like I didn't want it to blend into it. Like I didn't want it to be part of it. So I wanted hard lines to still be in the piece, but I wanted the blue to complement all the other blues in there. So this is the shade we picked. We had a ton of different shades to choose from. We actually mixed, this one's a new one we've never done before, because we really like the Blue Dream mixed with the Blue Slime. But we were like, well, let's do Mystique because it's like cloudy Blue Dream. And it'll give us more of that cold, icy, like frozen look, which I think really, really came out nice. The Lake Ice Tech is really sparkly. I feel like there's some blue stardust in there from Chaka. And the cab I did on the side, I had some snowflake millies. I was like, okay, I was trying to figure out where to put them on the piece. I was like, oh, I could just weld them to the Lake Ice Tech so there's like snowflakes falling through it. But to me, I'm like the symmetry would be hard for me to get with just 3 little things like that to like put, do I put 2 on the can or 1 up on the neck? Like it just didn't seem right. So I was like, well, I have 3 and then I have 3 points of contact. I can make like almost like a triangle pyramid shape around the bear paw. So that's the route I went with those. And I'm stoked how it came out. And then on the drain, which is one of the Sidekick drains, is this really cool like cab that Chaka sent me. It's like full of like these little wigwag millies and snowflakes, and it's his Blizzard Tech pattern, which is inside there, as I believe they call it. Hopefully I didn't get that wrong. Oh my god, fuck, my voice is trembling. I'm trying to sound like chill. I'm like, I got this, dude, we're just hanging out, fucking everything's chill, everything's good. But over here I'm like, wow, my hand's so cold. Should I take another dab? Oh wait, I heated this up. We missed it. That's okay. It's fine. We talked about glass more. At least that happened. We should just make an edited down version of every podcast where I just talk about glass. Every episode will be about 4 minutes long. And then people could just watch that and be like, that was a cool episode this week. And then people that want to see the unedited version, it'll just basically be me complaining for 56 minutes. And then there'll be about 4 minutes of glass talk in between all that. Literally, I've had big glass blowers hit me up and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna check out your podcast," and I never hear from them again. I'm like, "Okay, perfect. They checked it out. Now they know. They know what's going on. He's crazy. It's okay." Oh, whoa. I could have taken that. Well, I just looked at it and it was at 420. It must have been probably about 450 when I put that in there. It would have been low temp, but I think I could have got away with it, especially with those rubies in there. But I'm only gonna take a couple more, so I don't want to waste any. I'm gonna take this one on this guy, and then we're gonna take our final one on this big goofy piece, and then I'm gonna drink some liquid IV and stretch, and then get to work. Try to work off all this hash. Every podcast by the end of it, like I go inside, I'm like, oh, I'm done smoking hash. I tell my wife I've quit. I'm like maybe I'll smoke flowers sometimes, but I'm done smoking hash. I can't do this anymore. It's too much. And then later that night, she's like, you want to play WoW and take a dab? I'm like, sure. Sounds good. It's too good. It's too terpy. It's not even the stoned part. It's just I like playing with the function of pieces. Like, you could ask Cormac or Keymaster Glass. I'm in here all day. Like, if I'm not on the torch, I'm literally just dry pulling on pieces. Like, walking around the room, like, just walking around pulling on glass all fucking day. And it's like, I'm taking videos, like hundreds of videos I'm not posting. I'm doing different, I'm just obsessed with like the function and the little pops of air and how the water's moving. And I'm just like, oh, how do I change that? Or how do I refine that pop? You know, I just looking at my nail, like, don't miss it, bro. He like stretched out a little bit like this. We're at 600 still. We're good. But I saw him. He was like, oh shit. I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot I gotta do a stab. See, that's why I need help. Good thing I'm not doing these by myself. I would just forget where I was. I wouldn't even press record. I'd be like, yeah, I did an hour and I forgot to record it though. That would happen. I'm surprised we haven't done that yet. I'm gonna jinx us now. It's gonna happen. That's fine though. I honestly wouldn't be upset. I would tell my wife it's a sign. I'd be like, okay, that was a bad episode. Good thing that one didn't. It was a sign. The universe was like, no, that ain't the one. That ain't the one. All right, we're gonna take this at. Oh, that's way too much. Gonna take us about 480. Looks like 470. She's cool and quick. But luckily, when you have little ruby pearls in there, you got a spinner cap. Even if it's low temp, you're good. I don't know if the camera could catch it, but yeah, you could still see the drainage. One of those things. It's like the way the light's hitting it. Ooh, this one does a really cool. Okay, so these sidekick trades in the little bubble right here. Oh, fuck. All right, well, in the little bubble right here, all RBRs do this, but these do it the most out of any of them. There's a horizontal cyclone that happens in the bubble. You have to take a few dabs through it to get that. This actually just happened on the first dab through this. This one's just such a shredder. But there'll be a vortex that's literally fucking spinning horizontally inside the bubble. And I think it's because the return hole is on the side of this and it's in a bubble, and the way the water comes down, it actually is like, it's literally like a sideways one of these. Like it's hitting that wall and going around the bubble and then being sucked into the drain, which gives it its point of like, you know, where the pressure is pulling it. So it's not really gravity, it's a different force. There's some other force happening there. I don't think it's gravity. Well, science. Oh, I wish we had a real scientist so that could explain some of this shit. Be dope. There's a bunch of things I wanted to talk about in this podcast. Didn't talk about one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're just here hanging out. Yeah, I had let's get into this piece. This thing is just, I'm really stoked. It's actually going to a collector that has another Chaka piece from me and him, so it's going to be in a good home. He's going to fall in love with this one, though. I think he's going to be like, he won't be able to put this one down. Who knows? Maybe he'll put his other one up for sale. He'll like this one so much. You never know. I will tell you what. I don't really want to dab on this piece. I don't really want to dab on this piece at all. And I was going to sing a song about it, but I'm not, because I'm being very serious. This is the type of piece you give away, you know? It's just, I'm just kidding. But it is a monster. It is so fun. I'm really stoked on the symmetry, how it came out. Really balanced. Oh my God. I'm just trying to, you know, like, have you guys ever like done like jumping off like cliffs into the water, like cliff jumping or any of that stuff? That's what I'm doing right now. I'm like the guy standing on the edge, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it in 3. And then like, I'm like 3, 2, and I'm like, hey, is your car locked? And I'm like, and then we talk for a minute. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to jump. Count me in. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to kill some time because I'm not ready for this at all. You know, I was telling my wife, I was like, we should find some good like CBD hash or something so that like whatever, like the last dab, I can do a big one, but it's just not THC. Because after this dab, usually I just want to go eat some food, cuddle up on the couch, relax. Right now I feel motivated. Cold, but motivated. And it's only my hands that are cold. Might have a circulation problem. We'll figure it out. Who knows? Yeah, I just fine. Yeah, here's a t-shirt. I'm in a long sleeve, and I'm thick. I got some pounds on me. So I should not be cold. Still, killing time. Terrified. Here we go. So let's talk about it just one more second. Let's make sure. Yeah, that's definitely going to do something. All right, let's get it going. So we got a nice Chaz banger here. Good and Chaz. Did you guys see that Adaptec is doing quartz restoration? It looks pretty cool. I'm like, damn, I got so much quartz. So much quartz I could send them. I just gotta go look what the prices are. I gotta figure that out. I'd definitely like to get some of my pieces or some of my quartz cleaned up. This nail is not in there all the way because the piece is cold and this nail has a bunch of reclaim on it and it's like stuck. It won't go all the way in. Okay. Come on now. So we'll just do one of those. Ooh, it's still pretty cold. Aja, if you cough, you're gonna really mess up this podcast, bro. Like, if people hear you cough, oh my god, dude, it's ruined. It's over. Like, I don't know if we'll be able to post it, so please don't cough. Thanks, bro. He's over there holding back a cough. I'm like, just cough, bro. You're good. We're good. Anyone that made it this far, like, their expectations are so low at this point. They're like, or they've just been waiting for this piece, which I'm going. You're gonna be really let down. Like, I'm not gonna do a good job. Literally, I'll try really hard though. I'll give 110%. Promise. See what happens though. Yeah, I think 4 dabs. Yeah, that's my, that's where I've been trying to keep the podcast. I'm like, it's like one every 15 minutes. That's like with the pace I try to keep. Seems to work out pretty good. Like months ago, the podcast, I'd be so sleepy at the end. Nowadays, I joke around like I am, but realistically, as soon as this is over, we're stoked, we're crushing. I'm just joking around. Or am I? I might need to eat something more. But I did eat before this, and I feel way better than normal. I don't know why my fucking hands are cold. I think it's because they're used to working, and they're just resting right now on this turbometer. My hands aren't working. We'll get this, though. You know what it is? I might have arthritis early on. You know, I gotta go see a doctor because these hands aren't really working. There we are. 70th try is the charm. Wonderful. So, this piece is stable. It is crazy. Like, making this, there was one point where I had it on a handle and in 2 hands, like a sword, like in the fire, like a fucking battle axe. It was so cool. I was actually laughing hysterically out loud. Like, if anyone were to have come out in the studio at like 2, 3 in the morning, they would have saw a crazy person. I didn't go live for a reason. I was like, this is fucked. Crazy. Because I was just laughing, having so much fun. And then my wife, she was like, you didn't have to work that late. I was like, I was having so much fun. I had to keep doing it because fun is so special. You got to just appreciate it. And if you're having some fun and no one's getting hurt and you're just enjoying yourself, you got to just keep doing it. It's important. Okay. I'm going to take this one at a little hotter. Just because it's a little bigger. Actually, with how slow I'm moving, it's probably going to be more like 470. I was going to take it at like 490. Still not that hot. Again, I'm really just taking my time. Oh, I didn't take too much time. That's already fucking getting smoky. All right, folks, I'm trying to find the best way to hit this. So I'll just kind of hit it a couple different ways. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is some oh, that's some concentrated weeds. Wow. Well, I'll tell you what. Super smooth. She's a shredder. And the flavor, still overwhelming. It's really fun to make pieces like this. But not a practical way to pay your bills or for anyone to be smoking. But it's a fun conversation starter. It's a cool piece to have at a sesh. And I think it's fun for people to win something, especially. Most of these giveaways have over 15,000 entries. And, you know, we do them in like a day thing. This one might run for a couple days. I'm not 100% sure. But it'll be over by the time this podcast comes out. So whoever the winner is, congratulations. Oh, what fucking time is it, Aja? I'm trying to figure out if I can go on one more tangent or if I should just fucking end it. I am stoned. But what? 1 hour? Fuck it, folks. We got more next week. Oh. Holy shit. I hope you guys have a good day. If you stayed this long, thank you so much. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out bmsglass.com. If you sign up for our newsletter there, it's going to be the best way to stay up to date with us for drops and everything we're working on over here. Again, I really appreciate everyone that supports us, and it's really fun. Thank you. This is the What's Up Everybody podcast, and hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. I'm not even going to hit it. I don't need this. This is pointless. I don't care. I'm drinking this. Hydrate yourself. Ooh.